Hello, everyone. I'm here to tell you about a bizarre Pokemon game that I once got my hands on. It's quite an odd story, but please bear with me and listen up. So, a while back, I was given a copy of Pokemon Leaf Green by a friend. She said she tried out the game, but became bored of it very quickly. I could just see how quickly she got bored as she had only 5 minutes of gameplay. She called her character Leaf. I guess maybe because of the game's title Leaf Green. I wanted to play a new game, but first I wanted to see if she even bothered to leave Pallet Town to activate the event where Oak takes you to the lab and gives you a Pokemon. I start up the game to find that the player is lying in her bed in her bedroom. Except, the bed is in the middle of the room. Everything in the room is missing except for the television and bed. And the left side of the floor is a dark circle, while the other side is lighter. Also, the area's name is Emptiness, not Pallet Town. Perhaps she gave up on the game because of this weird change to the overworld? Oh yes, I almost forgot to mention, no music is playing by this time. Before leaving the bed, I hit the start button which opened up the menu. It turns out she did have a Pokemon, so I checked which starter she'd choose. To my surprise, she actually had a level 10 Eevee named Lonliness. I know Eevee is an impossible starter, but I couldn't help but notice that the E was missing from the word loneliness. Maybe she didn't know the spelling of loneliness? I guess this might be the case since she wasn't very good at spelling. Upon closer inspections, the Eevee appeared to be sad instead of having a happy smile on its face. Its nature is lonely nature, and its attacks are as follows: Tackle, Screech, Grudge, and Nightmare. I left the bed and made my way over to the television. I pressed the A button to see if it would work, and it did. The text said, "You're not wanted here." Well, isn't that nice? Since I can't do anything in this room, I exit downstairs, and similar to upstairs, the only thing in the room is a television. Except this time, the tiles on the floor spell out the word "Go." I check the television, and the text says, "Don't leave me." Well, I had no choice but to leave since there was nothing to do in this boring room. So I exit south to the waiting Pallet Town. I leave the house, and instead of being in Pallet Town, I am in some large foggy place. The surrounding grass is colored red, and the house that I left is cut in half, with only the bottom part showing. There are gates surrounding the path, which prevents me from exiting, and the music that is playing is the music that plays at the abandoned mansion. And there is a path heading east. Before heading down to the eastern path, I noticed that there was a signpost. I walked up to the signpost and hit the A button, revealing the text as V. Finally, there is another path going south, except I can't reach it because the gate prevents me from walking to it. I walked down the path for what seemed to be about 8 seconds, when an NPC scrolls in. He appears to be standing on the gate, and his body is pure white. with a gaping mouth and blood trailing from his eyes. A very spooky sight, if I say so myself. I am able to interact with the NPC, and he says, "Can't you do better?" Is he taunting me? Well, regardless, I continue down the path. The surrounding grass turns to black, but the red path is still there. I walk towards the end of the path where there is a small door. Walking into the door, I am taken off to a different map. I appear in a small school-like house with no blackboard and a small desk with a book on it. I walked up to the desk and checked the book. He was so alone. His sorrow-filled eyes made me so unhealthy, so hurt. I wanted to help him, so I did. I have no clue who the author behind that book would be, but I shrugged it off. Another one of those white NPCs is standing beside the desk, so I walked up to him and spoke to him. He was so kind. His smile, his laugh. He said, "Leaving the house, I am taken back to the previous map. Except this time I am in that path heading south, which I could not reach before." I walk south down to the path to find there are some letters faded on the left side of the gate, with 5 white NPCs on the other side. The letters appear to spell out the word friend, with a question mark under the 5 NPCs. Friend? It says, someone is questioning if someone else was a friend. As I continued south, the red grass changes to a pitch black. There is also a large body of water with green grass surrounding it. I walked my overworld sprite around the water and down the path. There is a door at the end of the path, and on either side of the gates there are 2 letters. By the look of things, an N and an O. I puzzled together the overworld text and I finally made the conclusion that it said, friend? No. So, this person or Pokemon wasn't a friend to someone else. After exiting through the door, I find myself in a very confined space with yet another white NPC standing at the end of a small room. When I spoke to him, he said, "Why wasn't he?" Well, see for yourself. By this point, I was greatly attached to this game and was desperate to get to the end of it. I exit south and I am taken to the Pokemon Tower. There's a signal path which I can follow, except I can't go outside the barrier of gravestones. There are 3 white NPCs scattered around outside the gravestone bearers. And there is one on the path which I could speak to, which only says ... Towards the end of the path, I find an NPC who isn't another one of those white NPCs, but the rival Blue. He is standing in front of a golden gravestone and is facing me. When spoken to him, he says, "No, don't believe the ghosts. Run away before they get you." I was sort of confused and was still trying to put together this odd story. Right now, I wanted to find out what would happen next. I exit the Pokemon Tower and I'm in Lavender Town. The music changes to the Lavender Town theme and the town has little changes to it. It's raining and the routes going north, south, and west are blocked by wooden gates. I explored the town to find 3 more of those NPCs. Let's call them ghosts since that's what Blue addressed them as. One of them is outside of the gate, so I was unable to reach him. One is standing beside the Pokemon Center. and another is standing beside the main house in Lavender Town. The one besides the Pokemon Center says, "Oh, but we're having so much fun. Do you really want to deny us?" And the one besides the house says, "Are you still going to believe the kid who betrayed Lonliness?" That's it. I got it. So Blue abandoned the Eevee named Lonliness. But why? The only way to find out was to continue with this game. I entered the house besides that ghost to find a lot of stuff is missing. There was a lass and a bug catcher sitting at the table. I approached the girl and she says, "This is frightening. I want to get out of this nightmare." I walked over to the bug catcher and he says, "The ghost can't get in here." I wonder why. But wait, there is a third NPC in the house. Facing the window, it's the male protagonist, Red. "Leaf, you're okay." No, you're not. Run! Run now! You have to discover the truth!" And with that, I leave the house just as Red commanded it. The next overworld map is the Pokemon fan club in Vermilion City. Except the people are missing and there is a fog here. May I also mention that the Lavender Town theme continues to play. I walk deeper into the house to find a ghost is standing beside a glitch patch of blocks. The ghost says, "Right this way, not like you have a choice." How very true. I walked into the bundle of blocks, but nothing happens and I appeared trapped. I then tried walking back south when I am teleported off to the Pewter City gym, with no one there but Brock. The fog is still in effect as I walked up to Brock and spoke with him. "Truth," he says commandingly as I am thrown into a battle with him. At last, lively music. Brock only has 3 Pokemon, each at level 2. He sends out his first one, which is a Bulbasaur named Ghost, as I send out my Eevee, Lonliness. I easily KO the Bulbasaur with Tackle as he switches into a Charmander named Tripped. The progress repeats and he switches into his final Pokemon, which is a Squirtle named Him. While knocking out the last Pokemon, I notice that together they say, "Ghosts trick him." With that, I won the battle and Brock scrolls in saying, "Continue," handing me the Boulder Badge. Brock's text ended with a bunch of exclamation marks, and we are taken back to the overworld. Leaf received TM39 from Brock. "Ghost tricked him. He is waiting. Be gone. Be gone," Brock says. I exited the gym and I am taken to the gate which led up to Victory Road. There are no exits here at all, and I am able to pass through the gate due to having the Boulder Badge. I exit out of a house in Fuchsia City, which is placed on the path that leads you to the cycling road. Instantly, I notice the text in the top corner which says, "You will perish." The city seems to be glitched and wrecked. It is raining and no music plays. Heading eastward down the path, I see 2 ghosts. The one closest to the house I exited says, "Take in the air while you still can." And the one next to him says, "Your time is almost up." The path continues eastward, and I can't go north due to some glitch blocks blocking the way. I kept walking eastward towards the city gate, only to find that it is blocked by 3 eligible signs and a ghost. The ghost says, "When you find out the truth, you shall join Lonliness forever, and you shall experience our being." I explore around the remote city to find Blue is standing at the southern east part of the city. When I approach him, he says, "Leaf, I abandoned Evie after my Raticate died. The ghost tricked me into it." So, I have found out Blue to be the fool he really is. I continued with the story, going through the only door in the town that would work, which was the house I entered the city from. Exiting the house, I am taken off to the Pokemon Tower. I am trapped in a single one-block space, surrounded by gravestones with 3 ghosts standing around me. From this point onward, there is truly nothing to do, so I switch off the game. A few months have passed since my encounter with the very odd game. I haven't picked it up since switching it off, and I soon forgot about it. I left it under my bed in a small box of games, not playing it until one Friday afternoon, when my mother was cleaning my bedroom. I got back from college and went up to my room to see her moving the box from under my bed and placing it on the bed. "Sorry, dear, I won't be too long," she said as she continued to clean my room. I took the box, gave my mother a hug, and went back downstairs, grabbing my DS Lite on the way. I threw myself onto the sofa and opened up the small box to find a bundle of different games. Which one to play? I looked around in the box until I saw a small green game card hidden under all the other games. It was that weird Pokemon Leaf Green game that I haven't played in so long. I remember being stuck in Pokemon Tower, but I was eager to play this game just for old times. Upon going to the title screen, I found that there was a new file named Sorrow, which had a gameplay time of 10 minutes. From what I remembered, the last file was called Leaf. But selecting the file, I am taken into the game. I am in a school building facing the eastern wall. And in the top corner, it displays the map's name, which is Neglect. Also, a ghost stands at the blackboard. I checked to see if I still had that Eevee named Lonliness. But instead, I have a Banette named Unwanted at level 18. The sprite of Banette is missing its arms. Its right eye is a black void, and there is a trail of blood from its left eye. It also appears to be frowning, with a modest nature and met in at level 18. Its moveset is Curse and Grudge, except Grudge is fresh out of PP. Oh yes, and it also has the ability Drizzle, which summons rain when entered into battle. I spoke to the ghost, and an Eevee cry is heard as he says, "Where did Lonliness go? Kekekeke." I exit the house and I am in a fairly large area with a gate surrounding the area and 3 ghosts standing outside the gates to the north, all staring at the house that I just exited. The grass is red like earlier in the game, and I found 3 signposts and another house, along with one of those people you see at the Pokemon Tower, wandering about. I interact with the signpost, which is to the left of the house I left in, and it says, "He brought Leaf here." I go to the signpost, which is directly right from the house, and that one says, "Trainer Tips." It was my only choice. I had to. I just had to. And the final signpost south of that one says, "Trainer Tips. She left me as well?" Before approaching the final signpost, I decided to speak with the person. She says, "Loneliness," and I am given a yes/no answer. I didn't quite follow what she meant, so I chose no, and she says, "Don't lie." I tried again, this time selecting yes, and she says, "Why did you?" Okay, so this is what I'm gathering. Leaf also neglected this Eevee, just like Blue did. I explore the second house to find I am in a Pokemon Center, with a fog in effect. Behind the counter is a Mew and a Ghost, both of them saying ... At the stairs leading to the top floor is the male trainer Red. I walked my character over to him and he says, "I don't know you." What? We met in Lavender Town. Maybe he was saying that because Leaf abandoned Eevee as well? I go up the stairs and I am teleported to Route 22, right outside the gate. It's raining, the grass is red like earlier, the map title is Look, and the music changes to the abandoned mansion theme. I tried entering the League building, except the doors won't budge, so I chose to follow the path that would lead me to Viridian City. While following the path, I pass a signpost. Upon interacting with the signpost, I hear an Eevee cry as the text displays the windows. "Raticate died! He doesn't notice me still." The wall which you could normally hop over to is changed to a gate, and on the other side of the gate spells the word Look. I continued around the path until I got to an area where I cannot pass due to the gates blocking the way. On the other side of the gate, there appears to be another weird formation. This time it says E. Just a little north from here is a small door in the cliffside, which I am able to enter. I'm taken to a room where in the center there are tiles spelling out the letter E. So that's 2 E's I've seen now. The north of the room I see Professor Oak. I tried walking past him, but he stops me and says, "Lonliness isn't the only one. E, E, E," and sends me back. I walk back to where I entered and exit through where I warped off to a cave named Lonliness. By the look of things, I am at the northwest part of Mount Moon. The music ends to silence, and the cave is filled with fog. I walk south where I found a signpost, and just like with the previous signpost, I hear an Eevee cry as I interacted with it. "I feel so unwanted," says the signpost. I continue walking south where I am met with Blue, and he says, "He was nothing but a curse." The screen fades to black and fades back in, and Blue is nowhere to be seen. I chose to explore the cave a bit, walking eastward from where I spoke to Blue. Suddenly, the room changes as if I exit through a ladder. From what I gather, I am in a lower part of the cave with a large pathway, shaped like a C. As I walked around the path, I found a third E written on the ground. I headed towards the end of the path to a waiting ladder, where I exit out of the cave into a route with a single pathway heading east. Similar to the first path in the game, except I am surrounded by endless cave walls instead of gates. The music begins to play as I notice it's the Lavender Town theme song. There is a signpost here, and as I interact with it, I hear an Eevee cry as the text appears on screen saying, "I'm not a curse." Towards the end of the path, I found a single path of grass, and as soon as I stepped into the grass, I am engaged into battle. A level 10 Eevee scrolls in, but instead of saying, "Wild Eevee appeared," it says, "Lonliness looks sad." I sent out my level 18 Banette and Drizzled activated. Since the Banette is fresh out of the Grudge PP, I had no choice but to use Curse. Unwanted, use Curse. Unwanted wants wild loneliness to suffer. Wild loneliness used grudge. Wild loneliness is bearing its emotions. Rain continues to fall. Wild loneliness is feeling agonizing pain. Since I can't use any other attack, the battle just continued with that until loneliness finally faints from the curse. Except it says wild loneliness died. My Benet gained some experience and I was sent back to the overworld. This time it is raining. The map's name is Suffer. There is no music playing. The grass patch is missing. There is a door in the wall above me, and the overworld sprite of my character has changed. Her body is completely white. Her eyes are red, and she had red markings on her hands. I checked my trainer card to see her sprite matches her overworld sprite. I checked my Pokemon to see if I still have the Benet, but it's back at full HP and Curse is back up to 1010 PP. But Grudge is still at 0 PP. I go for the door and I appear outside Lavender Town's Pokemon Tower. The grass has changed to red, it's still raining, the barriers have changed from wooden ones to white ones, and they are also closer, leaving me with a little less space to explore. The Pokemon Tower's door is missing. The music kicks in as the Pokemon Tower theme. And there are 4 signposts beside the tower in order. I read each one of them from top to bottom, and their text is as follows. Why didn't you listen to me? Now you're cursed. You could have saved us both. Do you regret? I remembered that the signpost before the battle with loneliness says, I'm not a curse. And before that, the signpost constantly labeled loneliness as a bad curse. This led me to believe that it was loneliness who was speaking through the signposts. Outside of the barriers are 3 ghosts, and when I explore the houses, there is no one in them. However, in the last house I checked, which is the one most southwest, I found that the tiles are white with E written on the floor in green. Also, there is a Cubone stood on the letter E. When I approached the Cubone and interacted with it, it says, 4th letter E. I exited the house and I appear back in the bedroom from the start of the game, except the bed is missing and there is a letter V on the floor. I interacted with the television and it says the following. E, E, V, E, E. Put the E where it belongs. 4 E's and a letter V, spelling out Eevee. I head downstairs and the only thing in the room is another television. I interacted with it and it says, you no longer exist. You have no purpose. But maybe you can ask for forgiveness? I leave the house and I am in Pallet Town. There is another change to the overworld sprite as I am nothing but 2 red eyes and a red mouth. Standing in front of me, looking up at me, are red and blue. I first decided to check if my trainer sprite had changed. 4 minutes of gameplay, no sprite, and the name had changed from Sorrow to Look. I then checked my party to see I have a faceless level 10 Eevee named Put to Rest. Its nature is modest and its only move is Guillotine. I spoke to Red and he says, where is Leaf? Where is Loneliness? Right away, I noticed that the word loneliness has its missing letter E placed back into it. I then spoke to Blue and he says, Leaf got the brunt of the curse It's all my fault. Just below them is a signpost, and when I interacted with it, I heard an Eevee cry, followed by the text, "Loneliness was put to rest. R.I.P." As soon as the R.I.P. appeared on the screen, the credits music from Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald played, and I am locked into the text and unable to leave it. The music would play till the end, and once it did, I am sent right back to the start of the game, where I have the level 10 Eevee named Lonliness. I understand the story now, but do you understand the story?